Event number 2 is done and dusted. What happened on the Kanak deadlift? World's Strongest Man, day number 1, event number 2, the Kanak deadlift. How heavy was this?
It was 353 kilos, and it was at a slight deficit to a standard deadlift. There's a little bit of flex in the bar as well. It's a strange one, this, because it's quite a long bar.
I don't know that there was flex. There was kind of rotation from those kind of toolboxes.
Yeah.
And, you know, no figure of 8 straps as well, which did seem to affect 1 or 2 athletes. The numbers that the athletes hit this year were lower than the last time they did this event in competition.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll start off with our first pairing.
And that was Matt Ragg and Jaakko Skumvinkel. Now, Matt is known for his deadlifting ability. We've seen some incredible training videos leading up to this year's World's Strongest Man, and he hit 7. And obviously, being the first pairing, we didn't really know what to expect, did we?
No, but it turns out 7 was really, really good. I mean, even 5 was great by Jaakko, because he's not renowned as a huge deadlifter.
No.
But 5 on this, we weren't sure at this point. But our next pairing gave us a real good understanding. We had Brian Shaw against Luke Stoltman. Now, Luke is not seen as the biggest deadlifter. We know this is probably his worst event in the final, to be quite honest. He ended up with 3 repetitions, but Brian did 7. Now, again, you know, tying 7th put him into first place. No one was sure. Everyone was saying, oh, how much has the stones taken out of him? Turns out 7 is really, really good on this implement.
And then we went into the third pairing, which was Pavlo Kordiaka versus Evan Singleton. Pavlo is also someone who's not renowned as being the biggest deadlifter. You'd say it was his weakness. He's quite some intimidation.
He actually started really well on this. He went quite quickly through 3 repetitions. But then he kind of fell back from the bar, and I don't know if his suit was on too tight or he was struggling to breathe, but he kind of needed a moment to compose himself.
He looked like he got dizzy,
Evan Singleton looked very solid. He was looking very strong, hit 5 reps comfortably, and then suddenly it was like the gas kind of just ran out of the tank.
Yeah, and there was nothing left. Pavlo was able to go back onto the bar and squeeze out another rep, which ended up being quite important for him.
Yeah, so it was Evan Singleton on 5, Pavlo finishing with 4 repetitions. So the next pair was a big deadlifting pair, looking at Alexei Novikov and Trey Mitchell. Both of these guys great at deadlifting. Trey Mitchell is just a powerhouse, and Alexei, he's won a number of deadlift events in competitions. The only thing, he normally wears the figure of 8 straps.
Yes.
And in this competition, those have been banned.
Yeah. Now, both of them looked really solid and smooth, and we were quite convinced, okay, now we're going to see more than 7 reps and see what people are really capable of on this implement. But again, they both stopped at 7. 7 was the absolute max.
Actually, as well, you know, Trey actually looked a bit stronger on this. He kind of started smoother. Alexei kind of took a little bit of time to get going. And Alexei had to work really hard on the last rep. But both of them did, actually. It was very, very good performance, both to hit 7. But now we had 4 athletes tied on 7, which really made an interesting point with our next 2 athletes, Tom Stoltman and Mitch Hooper, coming out. Now, if one of these could get 8, because of the amount of athletes tied, it makes a huge difference. Because what happens when athletes are tied on points? They don't get the 10, 9, 8. They will combine the amount of points for the athletes that are tied. So
and then divide it by however many athletes are tied.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing on this is that Mitch Hooper went out and got 8 reps. Tom Stoltman was looking amazing, by the way. But then after his 6th rep, going for the 7th, he got so close. He had the bar over his knees and he was getting close to lockout, but it was like a fight. It was 20 seconds where he was just fighting and fighting to get that bar locked out, and he couldn't do it. And then that energy expenditure just finished him completely.
No.
So Tom Stoltman ended up with 6 reps. Mitch Hooper ended up with 8 reps, and you had 4 other athletes tied for 7 in the middle, which in terms of points meant that Mitch Hooper gets the maximum 10, and then we had 4 athletes, Alexei, Trey Mitchell, Brian Shaw and Matt Ragg, all get 7.5 points, and then you have Tom Stoltman on 5 points. That worked out perfectly for Mitch.
It did.
You know, guys like Trey and Alexei still performing well, but not what Tom Stoltman wanted. Good points though for Brian Shaw fans. Brian Shaw clawing his way back into this final.
So the standing after 2 events then, Lozzie. In reverse order, currently we have Jaakko Skumvinkel on 4.5 points, Luke Stoltman on 5 points, Pavlo Kordiaka on 7 points, Evan Singleton on 9.5 points, Matt Ragg on 9.5 points also, Brian Shaw back on 10.5 points, then Tom Stoltman on 14 points, and then our top 3 right now is Trey Mitchell with 14.5 points, Alexei Novikov with 15.5 points, and with quite a comfortable lead after only 2 events, Mitch Hooper on 20 points.
So far the perfect start for Mitch Hooper, but this is a long competition, still 4 events to go. Mitch Hooper doing exactly what he needs to do. I know a lot of people after that first event thought that Brian Shaw has no chance. Brian is already back into this competition with some really good events to come. He's got the Fingers next, which I still believe he's going to win. The truck bull he could potentially win. Stones he could potentially win. He's solid at the dumbbell. So Brian is not out of this. Tom Stoltman also not out of this. Truck pull, amazing event for him. Stones, he's won these stones the last few years in a row. And, you know, Alexei Novikov, Trey Mitchell, both still in there with a chance. Alexei has the dumbbell to come tomorrow.
Yes.
These fingers are going to be a big question.
And they could really shake up the standings at this point in the competition as well, because so many guys are very close on points.
They really are. At the moment, it's looking like those top 4 are going to battle for the title. But like I said, Brian Shaw is still in with a shot. Do not count him out yet. Mitch Hooper exactly where he needs to be. But we are, you know, I coach Mitch, but I have to say this event is not a banker. It's a new event for Mitch. He needs to perform. Hopefully he's going to get to go towards the end. He'll see what people have done, but he still needs to apply. And anything can happen. This competition is still exciting. For me, potentially one of 5 men can still win.
Yeah.
But we are getting into this, and after the fingers, then we'll really have an understanding of what's happening and what we can look forward to tomorrow. Are you excited for it?
I'm nervous, and it's ridiculous. I'm not there, you're not competing, but I know how much every single one of these guys wants it. It means a lot to them. The title is absolutely massive. They work hard for this, so you just want it to go without mishap, no injuries, and may the best man win.
Absolutely. Once again, good luck to all the athletes. They are putting on a show for all of us fans. Very impressed with the show so far. Cannot wait to see what happens next. So let us go, guys. Do you think Mitch Hooper is going to hold on to first place? Is it going to be Alexei Novikov taking his 2nd title? Can Tom Stoltman do the 3-peat? Can the incredible happen? And Brian Shaw win that majestic 5th title? Could Trey Mitchell get his 1st title? All things can still happen. There are other athletes still in the fight. It's not over. Let us know your thoughts as always. Do not forget, like, share and subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you guys next time.